Okay, so reception calls me and say, listen, Pierre is here, can you come and get him? I go down the flight of stairs and I say, hello Pierre, how are you? Thanks for coming in today. Hoe was die verkeer? We chit-chat about this and that, all very surface level questioning just to connect. I always have oppervlakkige vrae when I see the client. We walk to my office and I would ask, would you like a coffee? I can offer you coffee or a tea or a hot chocolate. He says, no, he's off coffee. And I remark, yeah, now I'm also trying and I'm struggling, blah, blah, blah. And then we sit down and I say, okay, how did it go with we're moving now into the role play. How did it go with completing that questionnaire?
Some of them are tough to answer, to choose. Some of them are really easy, but I found a number of them to be tough to answer. And to somebody's point, it might be that on a different day, I would have selected the other one.
Okay.
But not necessarily on many of them.
Yes.
But they are difficult choices.
Can you think of one or two that was put you in a, was it, let me just check this with you, was it that both are equally true or both are equally not true of who you are?
The difficult ones are both are true.
Okay.
And depending on what you need to do or what your role is, you need to either be able to do one or the other.
Can you think of what was the thing in your mind that took you either to answering one or two? Choose one or two.
I think it would be what is more natural? What the other one you need to do and do because it's required.
Okay.
Or it is more the natural one.
But
it was moeilijk.
Yeah, sometimes it is difficult. Sometimes we feel like a bit of being in a double bind because any one of the two can do. And sometimes it's like, no, none of the two can really describe who I am. But in any case, what happens is that you did make a choice. You did choose one of the two. And that gives us an indication of your personality type. And the questionnaire is structured in such a way that at least it's not just one question that gives an indication of, now this is your profile.
Yeah.
There are at least 25 questions in the questionnaire. If you can look here, let me show you. These were your scores on the different combination of scores. The first one was 17-8, 8-17, 14-11, 7-18. So if you count them, you could have got a total score of 25 on each one of the scales. I'll explain the scales as we go along. But you could have got 25 on all of the scales. And you did make a choice to the one as opposed to the other one. Except for this one, the 14-11 one. The others, you made a definite choice that it's this and not that. So they just construct the questionnaire, and the questionnaire is like that. As you know, in your own profession, that you want validity and geldigheid and betrouwbaarheid, reliability in your questionnaire. And also this was proven to be reliable and valid.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me explain to you. What I'm going to do is just use a PowerPoint presentation that I often use, just to give basic feedback in terms of personality. You can have a look here on my screen. Now these four clusters of scores that you've got indicate four different scales on which this personality test measures. Now maybe it's good, and I think you understand that coming from your background. We get personality as one of those things that we can test in people. We get aptitude, we get interest, we can test emotional intelligence, we can test IQ. There are many different things that we can test about a person. Testing personality, keep in the back of your mind, it's only one of those things that we can test. It's not the ends of all of who you are. You always remain a bit more than just what I'm going to give you feedback on. Having said that, this is could be, and you will assess this as we go along, it could be a very good and a very accurate description, at least 80+% of who you are. and the way you perceive yourself to be. These 4 scores, as I've said, measure 4 different scales. Those 4 scales answer the following 4 questions. The first one, where do you focus? As part of our personality, one of the things, the guy that constructed this, his name is called Jung, he said that one of the things that really gives us a good indication of personality is where we focus. The second question that we answer with this specific personality paradigm or test is, how do you gather information? Or how do you develop insight or acquire knowledge? We all have a different way in which we develop insight, or the way we develop understanding. The third one is, how do we make decisions? The way that we make decisions is very strongly determined by the personality type that we have. And the last one is, what is our preferred lifestyle? Taken those 4 together, they've come up with this scale, these scales. The first scale, you can, let me explain this to you. With your scores, there's a center point of 0, and then you could have scored on the one side 25 or the other side 25. Now if we take your first score is 17A, you've scored on the left side, which is an E. You scored 17, and you scored 8 out of 25 on the I side of the scale. The E means extrovert and the I means introvert. So briefly what it means in terms of your focus is out there. You focus outwardly. Introverts focus inwardly. So typically what an extrovert would do is be very observant what's going on around them, and they want to engage. It makes them sometimes impatient, makes them sometimes act too quickly, makes them sometimes walk away and think, maybe I should keep quiet next time. Do you ever experience things like that?
Foot in mouth syndrome, yeah.
Okay. Are there specific scenarios, situations that you find that you could react too quickly?
I think in terms of that, and I said it to somebody, I take a while to warm up.
Mm-hmm.
So I regard myself as not being totally extrovert because
Okay.
there was an 8 on the one side.
Yes.
I look at things and observe first,
Yes.
and then I will warm up gradually.
Mm.
That might happen quickly. But I'm not somebody who just walks in a room with people I don't know and then talking to everybody. I don't like making small talk.
Yes.
That's why I like this exercise, because you can talk about the real things,
Yes.
not about the weather and
Mm.
things that don't matter. But saying, well, with my wife, I often say things that I shouldn't say. But luckily she understands grace, and that helps me quite a lot.
Yes. Yes.
But I am impatient. That is a problem.
Is it like a general thing that you've seen about yourself, at home, in the house, that you might be a little more impatient, more impulsive maybe, too quick to react, to respond, and out of the house, a bit more controlled?
Yeah, I think when I'm more at ease or more myself, with people I know really well, what gets me in trouble often
Yes.
is the way of saying things.
Okay.
So in terms of an impulsive. So I would say something that is not vindictive at all, because I'm a problem solver.
Mm.
So I want to solve things.
Yeah, that's true.
So I would say something that would be perceived as being insensitive.
Mm.
And because I have a loud voice,
Yes.
that makes it seem mean. But I want to fix things. I want to help you. So if we do it this way, it will help you. I saw a fantastic video about 2 months ago of a man and a woman talking to each other, married couple. And the woman has a nail sticking out of her forehead. And the man just wants to tell her what is wrong. She just wants to tell him how she feels. And it was fantastic. And that's me.
Okay.
But just get that thing out of your head.
Yes.
Mm.
It sort of, I get the notion that sometimes you get frustrated if people don't hear you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find yourself, it's not what you say, it's the way you say it. How do you become aware? Do you become aware in the moment that the way I'm saying it might not be a good way? Or is it maybe later on when you reflect back on the way you said it that you come to understand, now maybe I must change the way I say it? Or is it immediately in the moment present to you?
Yeah, it happens immediately.
Okay. Do you in that moment have the ability to change direction, or are you, even though you realize, no, I must change the way I'm saying it, you just carry on, or do you change direction?
I'm
in that
getting
moment?
better at doing at changing direction.
Is it?
There, yeah.
How do you get that right?
Deep breaths.
Okay.
Mm.
So you step back a bit.
Mm. And think about. Just think that second longer
Okay.
before you say it, because I still know what I want to say.
Yes.
I just try to rephrase.
Uh-huh. What's interesting is if you say that, people with your type, I know a couple of people with your specific type, and I'm sort of also close by to that type. I only have one difference on yours. I'm an ENFP, where we differ on the T and the P, the T and the F. The rest of mine is the same. Is people with this specific type, they often are very good at using language. They might be a good teachers. They might be good at explaining things to people. They might be good at thinking about just the thing that you mentioned here. How do I say things? And they've got this kind of ability to say, well, I don't want to use these words, I want to use these words. Do you find yourself to be like that?
So, in what I do, I need to provide a lot of training to people and tell them how things
Okay.
work. So that is something that comes quite naturally.
Hmm.
But yeah, being aware of how it would sound
Yes.
is something that I focus on.
Okay. At some point in time, obviously, you must have become aware of, listen, it's good for me to hear myself. It's good for me to think about the way I say things.
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't always happen,
Yeah.
but it happens often.
Yes. That's very good.